Hello, good morning and welcome to Breakfast News. I am David Opopasile. Anambra State government empowers 55 fiscally challenged persons. Social workers say dwindling communal living leading to increasing cases of depression, dejectedness, anxiety. President Buhari inaugurates Committee on State Judiciary and Legislature Autonomy. 6 die in bus head-on collision in southern Ghana. The World Down Syndrome Day was marked in grand style in Anambra State, with the state government empowering 55 fiscally challenged persons graduated from the state's vocational rehabilitation centers in Oba and Aguleri. The event, which was held at the Professor Dorakun Women Development Center in Oka, had in attendance persons living with Down syndrome and other disability challenges, as well as government functionaries from the State Ministry of Social Welfare, Children and Women Affairs, and Office of the Disabled. Correspondent Emmanuel Okonkwo was there for the ABS, and his report is taken from our studio.
Who were trained in various vocations including confectionaries, bead making, leather work, tailoring, phone and computer repairs were empowered with sewing machines, HP laptops with mini printers, gas cylinders and ovens, as well as bead materials and tools for computer and phone repairs, among others. The Anambra State Commissioner for Social Welfare, Children and Women Affairs, Lady Ndidi Mezwe, represented by the Permanent Secretary in the Ministry, Dr. Azuka Ofomata, re-emphasized the commitment of the present administration to giving persons living with disabilities in the state a sense of belonging, and disclosed that more physically challenged persons in the state will be added in the state government's disability help list to ensure that they benefit from all packages meant for that section of the society.
Down syndrome, persons with special need are empowered. Okay, those if Oinsia Governor Yana Wuye, Mohana Ba, you for that na ministry and one go to digital, not only going digital, making sure that the mandate of the ministry they fulfilled and accomplished. Numunaya no and achievement power. So Jamolona Agulev Vocational Rehabilitation Center Yanoba.
In a remark, the Senior Special Assistant to the Governor on Disability Matters, Chuks Ezewuzie, who rated the present Anambra State government as the most disability-inclusive government in Nigeria, called on other governors in the country to copy Governor Willie Obiano's approach to the plight of the physically challenged persons in order to give them reasons to smile.
APGA administration, led by our great captain, our great leader, our visionary leader, the man who came to Anambra State and said things must change and things must be better. Chief Dr. Willie Madabrochukwu Obiano, His Excellency, the Executive Governor of Anambra State, who said, go ahead. I have a heart for persons with disability. I have a plan. I have a passion to make life better for them. Let's think the Anambra, let's think better life for the disability community. That's why we are here, to ensure that the aspiration, the vision of our great governor reaches the people that he has come to serve.
Delivering a lecture on Down syndrome, a guest speaker, Dr. Mrs. Priska Nathaniel, who described the disease as incurable, called on women to avoid underage and old-age pregnancies, as such could lead to giving birth to children with Down syndrome. Some of the beneficiaries, including Lady Ifesinachi Udoji from Achala in Oka North Council area, and Mr. Paul Mmadubweze from Anako in Ayamelum local government area, thanked the state government for remembering them and promised to judiciously use the equipment given them.
Para
As part of activities lined up by the National Office of IFAD VCDP for newly added local government areas, the Anambra State Coordination Office has embarked on Infrastructure Needs Assessment Tour. The tour, which is expected to cover the 3 newly added benefiting local government areas of Obaru, Ihia and Orumba South, will feature interactive sessions where farmers, groups and organizations will have opportunity to discuss the areas they want the intervention. Over now to our agri-correspondent, Ebeleze, who covered the tour for details.
Infrastructure Needs Assessment Tour for Orumba South local government area that took place at the council's headquarters in Umunze attracted rice and cassava value chain farmers from various communities within the area. Speaking after the brainstorming interactive session, the leader of the team, Dr. Paul Nwadukwe, urged the IFAD VCDP to come out in full force and give a little push to the farmers, noting that with the enthusiasm in them, they will excel. Dr. Nwadukwe, who identified their key challenges as access routes, processing facilities and production enhancement, noted that with good intervention, they will no doubt live above their present level of income, improve quality of life and create employment for others.
Also give infrastructure. We also provide skill, capacity on how to use those infrastructures. And they take ownership at the end of the day. It is not owned by government. The farmers produce, they take ownership of this infrastructure and build their capacity to manage them.
The State Program Coordinator, IFAD VCDP, Mr. Anambra Guncha, stated that the visit was aimed at ascertaining the needs of rice and cassava farmers in Orumba South local government area that newly joined IFAD VCDP for full intervention. Mr. Guncha, represented by the State IFAD VCDP infrastructure engineer, Engineer Chidoziobi, announced that the intervention is purely on demand driven, where each farmer cooperative society or organization is expected to come up with their peculiar challenge for redress.
We create access to markets. We provide water for them for processing and potable water too. We build stores and markets for the farmers to easily market their products. We develop their lands to reduce drudgery, use of hoe and hand tools. All this we do to help the farmers in Orumba South local government.
For Mr. Anayo Okuli, rice farmer from Umunze, and Uzamakanwa for cassava farmer from Akbu community, while identifying lack of access route, processing facilities, market, aggregation center, among others, as their bottlenecks, vowed that if properly taken care of, they will produce for the entire country and export.
We have poor access road to our farms. Secondly, we don't have machineries, something like machineries like tractors, so we need something like that.
We need borrow. We need machine for processing it to change it to another product.
The Infrastructure Needs Assessment Tour featured question and answer session. With this need assessment tour to Orumba South local government area, farmers in the council area have been reassured that all their challenges will be taken care of by IFAD Value Chain Development Program. From Umunze, the council headquarters, I am Ebeleze reporting for ABS News.
Following the nation's overdue census exercise, the National Population Commission (NPC) has commenced the training of 52 field functionaries for its 7th phase of Enumeration Area Demarcation (EAD) in Anambra East local government area for effective management of the country. The training, which is simultaneously ongoing in 23 states of the Federation that have new federal commissioners appointed in November 2018, is expected to last for 3 days before the commencement of Enumeration Area Demarcation scheduled to take off next week Monday. Correspondent Chibuzo Bidike, who attended the press briefing, now reports.
Journalists shortly before the commencement of the training, the acting chairman, National Population Commission, Alhaji Hassan Bashar, hinted that the commission presently had demarcated 112 local government areas in all the states of the Federation and the Federal Capital Territory under the previous enumeration area demarcation exercises with the adoption of meticulous and gradual approach, while at the end of the current EAD, the commission would have successfully demarcated 135 local government areas, while the remaining local government areas would be covered in subsequent exercises. The acting chairman, who spoke through the State Federal Commissioner, Honorable Chidi Ezoke, noted that aside the constructive opportunities to review the huge technical work done at every stage, serious budgetary setbacks have been responsible for the slow pace of preparations for the census exercise, with the nation already 3 years behind, stating categorically that the EAD exercise is not the enumeration of persons living in the country, and its outcome will not determine the population of any community.
Which the entire census architecture stands. It forms the basis for both the planning and execution of the census project. It is the vehicle that drives the entire process in the pre-census, actual enumeration and post-census period, and the involved division of the whole landmass of the country into small units that can easily be covered by a team of enumerators during census.
Admonishing the trainees to ensure a cordial relationship with residents of all the communities to enable them gain facts and figures, the State Director, National Population Commission, Town Planner Joachim Ulasi, stated that the outcome of the exercise will assist the Commission have detailed data that will aid next year's general census.
The essence of the program is to do demarcation. Demarcation is just like a framework where census is based. It is dividing the local government into pieces, just pieces, small portion, where two enumerators can count during census. But what we are using is digital. We are doing paperless demarcation.
From Otuocha in Anambra East local government area, Chibuzo Obidike.
As the gaps in human-social relationships continue to grow wide, social workers in Southeast Nigeria have made succinct solutions to the ordeals of loneliness, depression, dejectedness, anxiety, and other effects of severed human relationships. Part of the solutions discussed by seasoned guests and participants in the program include the closing the gaps in healthy neighborliness, modernized communal living, regular or scheduled visitations, social gatherings, contacts through letters, phone calls, text messages, and emails. Correspondent Daniel Ezigu attended the event and now completes the report.
Event organized by the Nigeria Association of Social Workers, Southeast Zone, was to commemorate this year's World Social Work Day, which has the theme promoting the importance of human relationships. Speaking on the imperative of bridging the gap between inadequate relationships between persons, the Anambra State Commissioner for Social Welfare, Children and Women Affairs, Lady Ndidi Mezuo, suggested a closer approach to communications, especially among those who live far away from their parents and close relations. Lady Mezuo, who was represented by the Permanent Secretary in the Ministry, Dr. Azuka Ofomata, also highlighted the importance of social bonding and networking to the discourse and said the issues that arise due to inadequate human relationships would be effectively defeated if contemporary humans can embrace the solutions on ground.
This workshop or retreat, or you might call it, we can take it as a clinical session where we come to discuss ways, hows, and the mandate that is the mandate of social work.
In a keynote address, the Vice President, Nigeria Association of Social Workers, Southeast, Dr. Sabina Izuara, called for a renewed zeal and desire for charity among social workers, noting that the job is one that must be driven by passion and empathy and not rewards and emoluments.
The world are challenged with lack of government interest and commitment, especially in Nigeria, where corruption is the order of the day. They do not support social work because they know that social workers can change their character and their reasoning.
A social worker and a participant in the program, Mr. Emeka Ejide, said the event illustrates in great ways the essence of social work and what the human society would lose if there were no social workers, adding that a great percentage of today's societal problems is caused by breach in cordial human relationships.
No way you can sustain your humanity services or at the same time sustain your profile without having the social worker in background.
The program was also used to recognize individuals who have made outstanding contributions towards social and human developments, including Commissioner Mezuo, Dr. Fomata, community leader and journalist, Rotarian Ngozi Mbachi, among others. In Oka, Daniel Ezigwe, ABS News.
The rising cases of jungle justice or mob action in Nigeria has called for urgent reform of Nigeria's justice system. Almost on daily basis, reports emerge of irate crowds descending on suspects who end up either being lynched or left half dead, if the law enforcement bodies are usually quick to respond. In this special report, correspondent Daniel Ezigwe again speaks with a legal expert on the topic and its legal implications. His report.
Of the Universal Declaration on Human Rights states that everyone has a right to life, liberty, and security. Equally, the African Charter on Human and People's Rights, the Charter, Article 4, enshrines the right to life, as also amply provided for in Section 33 of the Nigeria's 1999 Constitution as amended, which also clearly states that every person has a right to life and fair hearing. Just some weeks ago, an Oka-based events manager, Mr. Pascal Onyilo, was barbarically lynched to death and his car touched at Umuoji, Idemili North Council area, following a false alarm of kidnapping. Like the late Pascal Onyilo, hundreds of other victims have been savagely sent to their graves by angry mobs who act as accusers, judge, and executioners. Amnesty International, in its several reports, pointed to the growing level of jungle justice and extrajudicial killings in Nigeria. An Oka-based legal expert and public affairs commentator, Barrister John Okoli-Akrika, while noting that jungle justice as a term is not specifically addressed in the Nigerian Constitution, pointed out that Section 23 of Nigeria's 1999 Constitution already gives basic protection to the life of every Nigerian to fair and credible hearing in the event of crimes and defaults of the law. Barrister Okoli-Akrika said that the poor or slow crime prosecution and perceived corruption among the justice enforcement bodies in Nigeria have often left the people with the sole option of taking the laws into their own hands.
No matter the allegation against somebody, no matter the accusation, no matter the dispute, no matter the issue, everybody is entitled to have his matter adjudicated upon by a court of competent jurisdiction. So where the members of the public perceive that somebody, committed a crime, so to say, it does not lie within their powers to resort to what they term jungle justice. It is not justifiable. It is not tenable for them to have a recourse to violence. They will become the accusers. They will become the judge. They will also become the executioners, because they will arrest the so-called offender. In certain instances, they will question the person as what really happened. In other instances, they will just get the person and lynch the person. But let me even take it that the person was asked what happened. You find out that the mob will now become the accusers. The mob will also become the judge. The mob will also become the executioners. So you can see that jungle justice, is antithetical to the Nigerian legal system.
In Oka, Daniel Ezigwe, ABS News.
President Muhammadu Buhari has inaugurated the Presidential Implementation Committee on Autonomy of the State Legislature and State Judiciary. President Buhari inaugurated the Presidential Committee at the State House, Abuja. The President disclosed that the 16-man committee is to be chaired by the Minister of Justice and Attorney General of the Federation, Abubakar Malami, while the Senior Special Assistant to the President on National Assembly Matters, Senate, Itayanang, will serve as Secretary. The President challenged the committee to be meticulous and diligent in carrying out the assignment. According to the President, the inauguration is in line with the fourth alteration of the 1999 Constitution. The Minister of Power, Works and Housing, Mr. Babatunde Fashola, has faulted the 17 million often cited as the country's housing deficit figure. The minister said the figure had been used over the years and had been revalidated by professionals without asking how it was generated. Fashola, who spoke at the opening ceremony of the 49th National Conference of the Nigerian Institution of Estate Surveyors and Valuers in Lagos, said the continuous use of the 17 million figure was erroneous. While speaking on the theme, A City That Works, he asked estate surveyors and valuers to assist the federal government in carrying out an audit of empty and unoccupied houses in the country. According to him, there is no city in the country without empty and unoccupied houses, adding that valuers owe the country the responsibility of explaining why the houses are empty, for how long they have been, and what can be done to make them habitable. He stated that if the valuation of the unoccupied houses could be done before 2020, it will help the federal government to find solutions to the housing problem deficit in the country. At least 60 people have been killed in a head-on collision between two buses in southern Ghana, police has confirmed. The crash happened yesterday at about 2 a.m. in the Bono East region, some 430 kilometers by road north of the capital, Accra. Police Commander Joseph Antgwayawu said the vehicles were traveling in separate directions when the collision occurred. Each bus was carrying about 50 passengers at the time of the crash. Emergency services were at the scene, including firefighters, to put out the blazing vehicles. Kwame Arnin, a doctor at Kintapo Government Hospital, said 28 people were being treated for injuries. And on sports this morning, Eden Hazard ensured Belgium kicked off their qualifying campaign for Euro 2020 in style with a brace in a home victory over Russia, while a Memphis Depay-inspired Netherlands romped to a 4-0 win over Belarus. World Cup semi-finalist Belgium earned a battling 3-1 win over Russia in Brussels as Hazard struck twice for Roberto Martinez's side in their opening game in Group I. Yuri Termas rounded off a following move with a crisp low strike to fire Belgium ahead on 14 minutes at the King Bernardin Stadium, but Thibaut Courtois gifted Russia an immediate equalizer. The Real Madrid goalkeeper, put under pressure by Artem Zuba, panicked and scuffed the ball straight to Denis Skerev, who duly swept home into an empty net. Michi Batshuayi had a shot cleared off the line and later hit the post, but Hazard restored Belgium's lead just before halftime after drawing a foul from Yuri Zykov in the area. Remember, you can follow news and programs on ABS from any part of the world by logging on to our website, www.absradiotv.com. You can like us at www.facebook.com/absradiotelevision. You can also follow us on Twitter and Instagram at ABS Radio TV. And that is the news this morning, but before we go, here are the main points again. Anambra State government has empowered 55 fiscally challenged persons. Social workers have said dwindling communal living, leading to increasing cases of depression and anxiety. President Buhari has inaugurated Committee on State Judiciary and Legislature Autonomy. 60 have died in bus head-on collision in southern Ghana. I am David Obokwase, thanking you this morning for joining us. The weekend show continues right after now.